Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to give you 7 of my favorite Lattafa fragrance clones that I picked up this year. So let's jump into it. All right, so today we are talking Lattafa fragrances. My 7 favorites that I've picked up so far since early January 2024. I've picked up maybe about 20 Lattafas so far this year. And so this list was a little hard to make because if anyone's been following me for a little while here, you know I like me a good Lattafa. So I had to drill it down to my 7 favorites so far. Nice variety of fragrances here. Just everything for everybody. So I'm gonna have links down in the description if you decide you want to check any of these fragrances out, along with a bunch of coupon codes for various discounters if you decide you want to shop with them. So let's quit screwing around and let's get into it. All right, kicking things off, going to the Lattafa Pride Line series with Art of Arabia 1. Now you can scoop this bad boy up for in and around $38 at various discounters, and this is a clone or twist of Louis Vuitton Imagination, and I absolutely love this fragrance. This is such a nice, clean, energetic, invigorating style of fragrance. Opens with some nice bergamot, some mint, lavender, really nice fresh spicy ginger that's in there, a little black tea sweetness that works its way in there. It's just a nice, clean, aromatic, fresh style of fragrance, and I just adore the scent profile in this. I wear this to the gym pretty much every day lately just because it just has that nice clean appeal to it. The lavender in this has this like nice soapy touch to it. That fresh spicy ginger gives it a nice pop and just the right level of sweetness coming from that black tea. Gorgeous scent profile in this, absolutely adore it. Projection on this is pretty good for the first hour, hour and a half, and I get about 6 to 8 hours worth of longevity off my skin. Bang for your buck. This is a great Lattafa pickup if you're into that kind of fresh, invigorating style of fragrances. You definitely need to check this one out. That's Lattafa Pride's Art of Arabia 1. All right, next up from Lattafa, we're going with Lattafa's Nama Caprice. Now you can scoop this up for in and around $40 at various discounters, and this is a clone or twist of the YSL Bleu Electrique, and one of my favorite pickups this year for sure. Has a real nice fresh spicy opening, a little bit of citrus, some mint, some geranium, this lavender, and this beautiful cardamom. Oh, the cardamom in this is very much that YSL style of cardamom that you get in the La Nuit de l'Homme, the Bleu Electrique. It's just spot on, beautiful cardamom note that goes on here. And it mixes really nice with some of those aromatics, some of that fresh spicy mint, little hints of some ginger, geranium, little hints of lavender. And as you get towards the dry down, it gets a little bit warmer, has some nice cedar that comes through, a little bit of vetiver, some amber as well. So it gets a little bit of a sweeter profile, mixing with those nice kind of fresh spicy woods with that cardamom kind of riding through the entire fragrance. And it's just a mass appeal, sexy, flirty, just gorgeous, easy to reach for style of fragrance, and I absolutely adore the scent profile on this. Performance on this is pretty good, about an hour and a half worth of projection and about 6-8 hours worth of longevity off of my skin. Get some on my clothing and it definitely lasts a lot longer. $40, bang for your buck. This was one of my favorite pickups of the year for sure, and I think it's worth checking out. That's Lattafa's Nama Caprice. All right, next up from Lattafa, we're going with one of my most complimented fragrances so far this year, and that's Lattafa's Liam Gray. Now you can scoop this up for $26, $32 at various discounters, and this is a clone of BDK's Gris Charnel, and let me tell you, I love this fragrance. This has such a nice, soft, creamy, elegant style of scent DNA going on to it. It has some figs, some iris, some nice vanilla, some sandalwood. Nice cardamom note with some black tea that's worked in there as well. It just has this nice spice profile to it, a nice soft gentleness to it from that iris that comes through, giving a nice powdery texture. And as you get it to dry down, just the most beautiful creamy combination of the sandalwood, this tonka, this vanilla that comes through, mixing with that powdery iris, some of that black tea sweetness and those spices. Gorgeous scent profile on this. Very kind of gentlemanly, has this elegant, sophisticated nature to it, but also this like mysterious allure to it as well. Great for date nights, but it's also great for casual wear, and I've worn this to the office more than a few times, and just an absolute compliment beast when it comes to that. Performance on this pretty good. You get about an hour and a half of decent projection, and it lasts about 7-8 hours off of skin. Bang for your buck for like $26, $32. This is worth absolutely every penny, and definitely worth checking out. That's Lattafa's Liam Gray. All right, next up from Lattafa, this one might rustle a few jimmies out there, but I just love how this one smells. And that's Lattafa's Liam Blue Shine. Now you can pick this up for in and around $25 at various discounters, and this is a clone or a twist of the Acqua di Gio Profondo. And let me tell you, this is a beautiful kind of blue aquatic style of fragrance. A little bit on the sweeter side, a little less fresh than the Profundo I find, but through and through, that is exactly the DNA you're gonna get. Nice citrus, peppery style opening with some nice C notes that come through. Has that aquatic vibe that has a kind of bright liveliness in that opening. As you get towards the mid of the dry down, you get a bit more earthy tones come through, little hints of some violet there and some ambery sweetness that comes in. So it does have a little bit of more sweetness than you're used to. It doesn't have that kind of mineral note that you would get with the Profundo, but overall, you're definitely getting that DNA, and it just smells classy, gentlemanly, but kind of casual, fun at the same point. Love the DNA on this. This is one of my favorite fragrances from Lattafa recently picked up. And the reason it might rustle some jimmies out there is because I know some of you are probably screaming in the comments right now. Performance on this kind of sucks. It's about 45 minutes to an hour worth of moderate projection, and then it does settle back in, and you might get about 4 hours worth of longevity off your skin. You can maybe push it out if you get it on your clothing, but performance kind of weak on this one. You're gonna have to definitely reapply this one if you're out and about, but I have no problem doing that, and for $25, I'm not too concerned because it's just a great scent profile. The quality of this and the smell is just fantastic for $25, but yes, you're gonna have to reapply that. But overall, I love it. I think it's a great fragrance and I really enjoy it, and it might be something you wanna check out. That's Lattafa's Liam Blue Shine. All right, next up, going back to Lattafa Pride with Lattafa Pride's Vintage Radio. Now you can scoop this bad boy up for $35, $50 at various discounters, and this is a fantastic interpretation clone of Initio Paragon with one of the most juiciest, sweetest, realistic style of plum notes I have encountered in a fragrance. Absolutely gorgeous. Little hint of some lavender and some pepper as well, but the star of the show is that plum, and if you're into plum notes, you are going to absolutely love this one. As you get towards the mid and it opens up a bit more, you get this really beautiful, rich Palo Santo note that comes through, adding a bit of a woodiness to it, and then you get this sandalwood and amberwood that comes in the base. It adds just a little bit of sweetness and a nice creamy texture, almost kind of a haziness that's going on with this fragrance, but it sits on this nice kind of creamy sandalwood, this kind of dry amberwood, adding additional sweetness to that plum note that comes through. And through, this is a very like sophisticated, like opulent, gentlemanly style of fragrance. It is unisex. I think both males and females can pull this one off, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Love the scent profile on this, just mass appealing, crowd pleasing, compliment beast. I get comments on this all the time when I wear this. Beautiful scent profile on this, and the performance is pretty good as well. I get about an hour and a half of decent projection, and it does last about 7 to 8 hours off my skin. I can definitely push that out a lot longer if I get some on my clothing. Bang for your buck. If you can find this for a decent price, I definitely think it's worth checking out. That's Lattafa Pride's Vintage Radio. All right, next up from Lattafa, we're going with one of the flankers, and it's Lattafa Hamra Kawa. Now you can scoop this up for $32, $50 at various discounters, and this is the flanker to the famous Lattafa Hamra, which was a clone of Angel Share. This one's a little bit of a twist on that Angel Share DNA. It's very similar to Hamra, but it has this bit more darkness, a little bit more of a masculine vibe going on to it, because it has this really nice, dark, rich coffee note that's in there, and it's absolutely fantastic. Nice opening with this, has a little pop of some ginger, but some nice warm spicy cinnamon. Candied fruits, some praline, a little bit of vanilla coming from the base as well. So a really nice mix of some sweet accords to it. Very rich, gourmandy style of sweet accords, mixing with that warm spice that comes through. Little pops of some cardamom as well. But as this gets to the midpoint, that real nice, dark, rich coffee note comes forward, and it just has that kind of that fancy cappuccino sort of vibe going on to it with that sweet element that's mixed in there from the praline and that vanilla. And as you get towards the dry down, just a very rich, dark style of fragrance with those sweet accords coming through. Just like sitting in a dim lit jazz club in the corner, just drinking your fancy cappuccino. That's the sort of vibe you get with this. Very kind of mysterious, sexy, alluring, gentlemanly sort of vibe going on to this, and I absolutely love this, and so does my girlfriend. This is just an absolute compliment beast. When it comes to performance, great projection for the first 2 hours, and it does last about 7 to 8 hours off skin, and get some on your shirt and it'll last into the next morning. So the performance on this is fantastic. Scent profile on this is even better, and I absolutely love this one. Definitely worth checking out. That's Lattafa's Hamra Kawa. All right, last but certainly not least, we're going with the Lattafa Niche Emiretti line, and it's Lattafa's Niche Emiretti Henjar. Now you can scoop this up for $50, $55 at various discounters, and not a huge fan of the bottle, to be quite honest. It's neat looking, but you gotta store it like this on the shelf. Takes up a lot of room, so I'm not a huge fan of this, but the juice inside, I am quite a big fan. It is a very unique fragrance. This is not going to be for everybody. It's a bit of a twist on the Ganymede style of DNA. Not a compliment beast, not an easy to reach for style of fragrance, but as a personal wear fragrance and just someone who's an enthusiast that likes interesting, unique style of fragrances, this hits the mark on this one. Opens really bright, lively, aromatic, spicy. Nice, fresh, spicy ginger pop that's in there. It mixes with this nice aromatic, like warm, spicy pimento, a little hint of some nutmeg, and you get some nice earthy tones that work in there. This violet leaf that comes through. Adds kind of like a bit of a darkness to it, not even a sweet floral, but like a bit of a dark, earthy tone with that violet leaf and this patchouli that's in there as well. And as you move towards that dry down, it becomes like kind of that less aromatic liveliness, and it moves into kind of more of a dark earthiness as you get to that dry down. You get some vetiver, little hints of some leather that come through. Still maintains that warm spiciness to it, some cashmerean that's mixed in there as well. Just has a nice dark, earthy, rich tone to it with that little kiss of leather, giving it kind of like a bold, masculine feel. And overall, very unique, and I just really enjoy the scent DNA on this. It doesn't have that same kind of mineral ting that you would get from Ganymede or Ganymede style of clones. It does miss that, so that's why it's more of a twist. Has that very similar kind of earthy profile and that little bit of darkness that's in there after that lively opening. And that mix of those spices that's in there, but it just misses that mineral note, which for me, not a huge deal, because I think this is just very interesting, bold, masculine, gentlemanly style of scent DNA, and I just happen to enjoy it. But like I said, not going to be for everybody. This is not your easy to reach for style of fragrance. Performance on this, pretty good, about an hour and a half of decent projection, and longevity about 6-7 hours. And I do find this sticks to clothing really well. So when I get it on my clothing, it does last till later in the evening or even to the next morning. So performance on this is pretty good. If you're looking for something unique to kind of step out there a little bit, kind of have that kind of bold, rugged, masculine, but sort of sophisticated gentleman sort of vibe all at the same time, you might want to check this one out. That's Lattafa's Niche Amaretti Hanjar. All right, so there you have it. That's 7 of my favorite Lattafa fragrances that I picked up this year, but I want to hear from you guys. What is one of your favorite Lattafa pickups this year in 2024? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different recommendations, your hidden gems, different taste and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.